What we want. Right, one more break to come from us here. After this, we will focus on Florian Wirtz and Conor Bradley, with many of the players now away with their countries for this international break. Back soon. Welcome back to the final part of this week's Press Box. A quiet week now for the club as the final international break of 2025 kicks in. 15 members of Liverpool's first team squad have now headed off to represent their countries. And Mo, after a week that ended in the manner that it did, perhaps a welcome break for them to go off into a different environment. I think so. For some of them, a change is as good as a rest, isn't it? And I think when you think about the stakes for a lot of these international games, because this is the last point before the World Cup qualifiers are decided or playoffs are decided for some teams, and for a lot of the players these are going to be deciding whether or not they get to go to the World Cup. So it's something else for them to put their mind in other than what has or hasn't been going right for Liverpool, and a chance for a lot of them to start playing well. I think the Dutch players in particular have enjoyed their time in international duty in the last few weeks, windows, and the Hungarian boys as well. I think for Milos Kerkez in particular, it might do him some good to go out there, play 2 games, probably play 90 minutes in 2 games and get some good feeling back. Yeah, a positive international break can really translate into your club form when it comes back, doesn't it? Florian Wirtz, of course, joins up with Germany. He will be feeling bolstered, shall we say, after getting some support and backing from their coach, Julian Nagelsmann, who's been asked about his transition to the Premier League. This is what he says. Ultimately, the overall situation is such that he just needs a little more time, which is normal. You see that with other players who move to the Premier League too. We all know what he's capable of, and it's perfectly normal for a player of his age to go through a bit of a dip in form. We can't expect him to perform at the same level for 3 years straight. All very fair points, Chris. There is such a weight of expectation when you make such a big move, but he is only 22 years old, of course, and it's easy to forget that such has been the trajectory of his career so far. Yeah, I mean, it's quite obvious everyone is so keen for him to do well, aren't they? I mean, you know, if he has a decent game, it sort of gets elevated a little bit more. Oh, he's fantastic, he's done okay. And then if he has a poor game, he's probably getting hammered more again because of the fee. I mean, we just don't. We've just got to wait and see how it evolves. I mean, you know, I can remember when Roberto Firmino first arrived in Liverpool. Behind the scenes, they were raving about Roberto, you know, and what a great player. And then you watch the first few games, I was like, well, what does he do? And it was only when, you know, Klopp comes in, turns him into one of the great false nines in history, and you sort of saw it then. And it feels a little bit. Is he going to go this way with Wirtz, where he's just going to find that niche position and it's going to be okay? But equally, it's fair enough to say, look, there's been other examples of players that just hasn't worked. And that's going to be the worry for those who are wanting more and wanting to see more. And it is coming on a point where you have to start producing more. But also what Guy said about Doku, that's a valid argument as well, you know. Then it took him 2 years. So when you're 22, you do have a lot of time on your side. I think if you sign a player like that at 27... it's different. It's probably a little bit different. I mean, Guy, there's always so much noise, isn't there, when playing for a club like Liverpool? It's beyond the level that so many players will ever experience in terms of pressure and scrutiny and expectations. But we know what quality is there with Florian Wirtz. He's been used on the left in recent games. Chris was talking there about maybe finding a niche position for him and it all clicking. Do you think that's an area that we might see bring out the best in him?
Maybe, yeah. The problem there is in the centre. Dominic Szoboszlai is playing so well. You can argue that there you go. There's one benefit of the signing already. If it's got Szoboszlai playing consistently at the level he's playing at, then it's worked. It's already working because competition for places doesn't matter who the name is as long as the team's performing well. I'm just going to throw another name in as well. Kai Havertz, who followed the same path as Florian Wirtz from the Bundesliga to the Premier League and was the great new thing, the big hope of German football. And his first couple of years for Chelsea, everybody's thinking, what's the fuss about? He goes to Arsenal, plays in a different position up front for a lot of the season, and suddenly, oh, hang on a minute, I get it now. He's a clever footballer. He's good. The same thing could happen with Wirtz. So it's early days, and it's like everything else. We'll have to wait and see. But of course, as we keep alluding to, me and Chris in particular are in danger of sounding like particularly grumpy old men. We have to wait and see, and let's not call it, and let's not knee-jerk reaction for everything. But that's what we're here for, isn't it? So.
Absolutely. What of Conor Bradley, who's had a whirlwind week, I think it's fair to say. He was outstanding against Real Madrid. I think you said it earlier on in terms of, he goes up against Jeremy Doku, who's absolutely flying, and I think still had some really good moments against Manchester City.
He when you played the goals earlier, I don't see where Conor was at fault.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dako's worldy. It's not Conor, is it? He's further on. I think he's fantastic football. I love watching, and I think he's just one of these. He's an academy graduate. He's had some unbelievable performances, unbelievably good, performances. We all know what the issues have been. A few injuries, not being able to get back-to-back games. It's actually, I think, it was a really important big week for Conor because he played 3 games.
First time in a year.
Yeah. And if Liverpool can get him playing, 24, 25 games consecutively in the way Robbo did and Trent and all that, they've got an unbelievable talent there. You can just see he's got it. And he's, I don't know, maybe I do sometimes think that the academy lads do get a bit of a raw deal in that because they haven't come in, they haven't cost a lot of money. People just, they go under the radar and they don't really get the acclaim. Sometimes, not that I'm sure he's probably not bothered. I think he's probably, but I think in Northern Ireland he's already, he's a superstar, and I hope he's going to be that for Liverpool. And I think there's every chance he will be.
The game he played for Northern Ireland against Slovakia was fantastic. I think everyone who saw that was raving about it because it was just a proper all-action display, and it felt like since then he's kind of gone up a level. The irony is that in that game he got a yellow card, which meant he missed the second game against Germany.
Yeah.
And that was the knock on him earlier on in the season, is that he was picking up yellow cards, which was starting to affect how he was able to play the rest of the game. But this last week, I think you've seen a real change in that. I think the maturity with which he's been able to play, even against really top wingers like Vinicius and Doku, he hasn't been diving in. Like, it was notable, I think the first time he made a slide tackle against Real Madrid was in the 91st minute. So he wasn't diving in. He was very much playing the percentages, what you want to see an intelligent defender do. And it looks like he's been able to kind of take on board that extra responsibility of knowing when to go in and when to not go in. And for example, we talk about how great Doku is. He did get a yellow card in that game against Manchester City, but previously you've seen Arne Slot, once he's on a yellow card, feel like he's had to take him off, to protect him from getting a second. This time he didn't. This time he trusted him to see out the game, and it was well worth it.
Yeah, I suppose, Guy, it's when we're talking about the disciplinary side of things there, with no Jeremy Frimpong at the moment, it's a test of maturity for Conor Bradley, because Liverpool don't have that other option in Frimpong at the moment to go to.
Yeah, but he passed it against Real Madrid. He's on 2 bookings in the Champions League, so one more and he gets a ban, and he's up against one of, not this season so far, but one of the best players in the world and my best wingers in the world in Vinicius Junior, and occasionally Mbappe drifting out over there. And he went through the whole game, as Mo's just said. It's only one tackle late on. He got everything right. So I don't think you have to question his maturity at all. I think he's there, and playing more games will only help. And something Chris just said, that happens at every club. And it's one of the great curiosities of our football in our country, isn't it? That you get the local lads and you'd think they'd be the ones given a break. You'd think they'd be the ones, everybody is rooting for them, but they're nearly always the first to be the fall guy. It's nearly always the case at every club in the country, and I find that really strange. We see the big signing and we all get excited, but hang on a minute, we should be more excited about those who are coming through.
I suppose Fisher balance that. I mean, his name was chanted incredibly well against Real Madrid. I suppose I'm thinking a little bit more. I don't know. I just feel like maybe externally beyond Liverpool, people, I've seen other fullbacks at other clubs have a few good games and they get. And I don't think Conor is quite getting that attention yet. But I don't actually think he would care about that anyway. So as long as he's performing and getting in the team. Well,
Conor Bradley's Northern Ireland faced Slovakia and Luxembourg this international break. Mo, for Alexis McAllister, a lot of air miles look like they might be clocked up. Argentina have a friendly in Angola, which is distance-wise from Argentina, just under 5,000 miles. I mean, you would like to think that there would be some logic applied to where the flights go from.
Logic in football scheduling?
Maybe not.
No. It's one of those situations. I think for him more than most other players in the Liverpool squad, every time he goes on international duty, you're crossing your fingers and you're thinking, well, that doesn't look like a good idea. That doesn't look like the kind of thing that Arne Slot would want to see from one of his best midfielders. But it's a World Cup year, and so everybody's desperate to prove that they are there and they're loyal to their country and they want to do everything that's possible to get into that squad. And obviously Argentina are one of the teams who have got a very good chance of winning it once again. So he's going to want to get his second World Cup medal, so he's going to do what it takes. It's a shame because he has just started to look a little bit more like himself.
I was just going to say, yeah, starting to look back to his best.
So you hope that the Argentinian national team manager will be aware of that and maybe not necessarily play him for the full 90 minutes, maybe give him 45 minutes.
I think the Argentine manager's got anything to do with it. What Messi wants, Messi
I was going to say, the manager on the pitch, maybe. But again, with Alexis McAllister, you hope that it's not going to be too damaging. But, as I always say, for one player it's bad, but for another player it might be good. I think of the fact that Curtis Jones is inexplicably not being picked for England. He's going to be sitting at home kicking his heels. So if there is any issues around McAllister's fitness, Jones will be able to come straight in for that game against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Right, we're coming to the end of the show, but very quickly, Chris, when it all resumes club-wise, what do you want to see more from Liverpool?
Oh God, everything. Just. I mean, I don't think there's too much to worry about. But still at Anfield, I think that takes care of itself. There was that one defeat to United, but it could have been as well. It's just. I think the West Ham game's the one I'll be watching most closely, actually.
Right, we shall see. That is it for us from this edition of Press Box for now. We are going to be back at the same time next week, though. A big thanks to Mo, to Chris and to Guy as well, and to you as well for watching at home. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye for now.